10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi everyone, welcome to my new YouTube channel. I'm your host, ky-law-right. And in our first episode of our Women Empowerment segment, we will discuss the theme, Eradicating Gender-Based Violence. So, don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. So, see you there! Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel. And in our first episode of our Women Empowerment segment, we will be discussing the theme, Eradicating Gender-Based Violence. And we'll be discussing three major topics: women employment, police involvement, and community involvement. And here with us, we have our speaker, Ms. Tara Moses. She is the president. She is the president and co-founder of Empowering Our Women, St. Lucia. And before we dive into all the topics, we're going to ask Tara to just give a little background for herself, her experience, everything, the type of work that she does in this particular theme, eradicating gender-based violence. So Tara, over to you.
Hi everyone. So as Kyla said, I am the president and co-founder of Empowering Our Women in Lucia. We are a small, newly developed organization that focuses mainly on the empowerment of young women through educating them on the importance of self-love and empowerment, as well as menstrual hygiene, and as well as eradicating gender-based violence within the community. So as I said, our group tries to focus more on trying to educate women on menstrual hygiene and how to care for themselves, as well as providing them with small packages, more sustainable small packages to equip them during their menstrual cycle. During the 16 days of activism, we try our best to try and raise awareness on the stigma associated with violence against women, as well as trying our best to address how prevalent violence against women has been during the pandemic. So that's basically what I'm doing right now with my organization.
Thanks so much for that, Tara. That was a mouthful, very substantial, and I really want to thank women like you for continuing this fight, this cause, because it is very important. It's a long talk about issue. It has been going on for years upon years upon years, generation, coming out from slavery, everything like that. And it is something that we have to continue to talk about in order to see a positive change or a drastic change in our economy, in our world, in our own spaces. So I'm really grateful for women like you who are continuing that cause and that fight. So appreciate it and continue. All right, so Tara, let's jump right in. All right, so for us, the first topic is police involvement. Now, we just want to know how important is police involvement in reducing violence against women. I know for Jamaica, we find that, because I used to work in a human rights organization and as a case officer, and what I realized is a lot of time when these women come in to do an intake, they explain to us that they were not able to make a report at the police station. So we found that a bit strange. Like, if it is that a man goes to the police station and says that, he was punched in the face by another man, the police would take his report and sometimes even go to the extent of asking him, do you know the whereabouts of this person that punched you? If you do, take us there. And they'll escort him and then bring that perpetrator, the person who punched him, in the police station. So what they do in Jamaica for women when they come and report the abuse that the spouse have done against them, what they do is send them to the court to get a protection order rather than taking their report on the spot, which is not how it should work. So that is something I know Jamaica has a problem with, And it definitely needs to stop. And that's an area that we need to continue to advocate in. So for now, we just want to know from your angle, how important is police involvement in reducing violence against women?
Okay. As you said, Kyla, police involvement is extremely critical because they provide safety as well as judicial protection for citizens. So if police don't involve themselves into, domestic abuse cases, reports, it will also leave the women exposed to further violence. You know, as you were saying that a lot of women don't go to report intimate partner abuse because of the stigma in our Caribbean region has, that they don't want to get involved because that's a man and woman business. It's like when a partner abuse their wife, when a partner abuse their wife, it's like, how can I say it? It's basically like the man is in charge of the woman, basically, in their eyes. So they will more likely take it a little bit more serious if it was a stranger that were a stranger and two strangers that were involved in a domestic dispute than an intimate partner or family member within St. Lucia. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I mean, it can be that the persons who are enforcing the law, who are supposed to be protecting citizens, are the ones that are derelict in their duties to women, and knowing well that it is a huge problem, knowing well that violence against women is something that continues to happen in our various era, in our various ages. It's just too much, too long, and we are in an advanced world right now. So to be in an advanced world and not to, find different ways, find innovative ways to see how you can prevent, not even just from a police angle, prevent, but to also, address it is most important in their field, addressing it. You can't see it and just ignore it.
Yes,
especially when you have a duty.
Like specifically during the pandemic, as there was a rising cases, I think a lot of government bodies should at least try to change the programs, have more sensitization programs for law enforcement, and not also the law enforcement that has a critical role in trying to eradicate violence against women, but also frontline workers like doctors and nurses. Because when a woman is injured, she's likely to go to the police to report, but when she is injured, she will go to the hospital or the clinic or the polyclinic. And that's why it's really important that doctors are aware and nurses are aware of the cases or the scenarios, like, seeing symptoms like bruises, cuts, different things like that on, the victim's body. So that's why it's good to at least have a gender-based violence or abuse screening available for doctors, and also for them to be aware of the signs that a woman may be a victim of abuse, So
I'm glad that you said that, and that is a valid point and a great solution. I mean, we do need to sensitize the different industries on how they can assist in reducing gender-based violence. And I'm happy that you pointed out the health industry, because as you mentioned before, that when they are injured, they don't judge them. When they come in, so you have to train and sensitize them of how to handle that particular situation. Don't be judgmental, do your job and be caring at it, be empathetic at it. I think our world lacks empathy, because in spite of the fact that you are not going through it, it doesn't mean that you can't put yourself in the shoes of that person and That's feel true. That what they are going through. So be empathetic, right?
And I also believe that they should encourage more women into the police force, because women are more likely to relate to the abuse and be more sensitive towards that kind of topic or issue that women face. So I also believe they should try and encourage more women into the police force as well.
I am actually happy you said that, because that is a very innovative way of having the police involved. And I was thinking about it the other day, because Jamaica has what is called like a section for handling rape victims, SISOCA that is. And in handling, so you have JC, that's Jamaica Constabulary Force, but then you have a section for the police officers who are trained to handle rape victims. So I just thought maybe, just maybe, we need a section for officers to handle abuse, like not violation, but violence, I should say, against women in that section. Probably we do need a separate section in the JCF body to have that done. That just like how you have them having a different section to handle rape victims. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that was something on my mind, but it totally slipped. So when you mentioned it a while ago, I'm like, definitely, Tara, definitely. I really do believe that is something that Jamaica can implement, because it would have a group of trained officers for that particular issue. And probably, possibly, I do believe that it would help reduce gender-based violence. So, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. It's very important, very. All right, let me just say from now, I do offer protection, free protection and occupational orders to women. So you can use the email address in the description below and contact me if it is that you require a protection order or an occupational order. And what the protection order does is that it works similar, very similar to that of a restraining order, but we don't call it a restraining order in Jamaica. We call it a protection order. And what it does is that it prevents the abuser from entering or staying in any particular place, say the home, the place of education, any place that would particularly affect the victim, can cause the perpetrator to affect the victim. So that's what the protection order does. And if it is breached by the perpetrator, he would be fined $10,000 or 6 months imprisonment, or both. And what the occupational order does is that it allows you, the victim, or any member of your household, to get the right to the residence, basically to stay in the residence, and to basically prevent the abuser from remaining there. So that occupational order is mostly given in cases where the court is convinced that it is necessary for your protection, or that of a household member or a child involved. So that is available in this service on this platform. So you may use the email below, and if it is that you require it, you can always reach out to me. So just putting that out there, it's very important. And I know there are women out there that require divorce. I do understand that it can be a bit pricey. So in my paralegal service, I do also offer divorce at a less costly rate for women. So women, you can also contact me for that if it is that you require a divorce, and uncontested divorce, because in my paralegal capacity, I'm only able to handle uncontested divorce. And uncontested divorce simply means you are not contesting any property, any assets, any custody of any children. All right, so let's go back over to the discussion with Tara. So our next topic, how important is community involvement in reducing violence against women, and what are some of the technological ways this will be achieved?
Okay, as I said, along with the police involvement, community involvement is extremely important, because not many survivors would go to the police for assistance, right? So I believe that when a community member see that a neighbor is being abused, or being a victim of domestic violence, that they also should report it, because sometimes the survivor is too scared to do it, or if they need, also reach out to the survivor, because a lot of survivors, they are extremely scared to go and report the abuse, because they're afraid that for further violence, or sometimes specifically in St. Lucia, there's a whole court process to get justice, specifically victim intimate partner violence. So I believe that sometimes reporting, the issue or the abuse isn't the right answer sometimes, but also trying to reach out to the survivor and, try and give them as much assistance as possible. Because sometimes they might need money, economic relief. Sometimes they need access to certain, a place to stay, shelter, or something like that. So I also believe that, the community has an important role in trying to assist the survivor through different means apart from, going to the police to report. So I know that's why it's extremely crucial.
Right. I really like that you touch on all of those different, complexities that the community or ways the communities can get involved. I like the fact that you mentioned shelter. That is also important. I was also thinking about, if all communities, we have 14 parishes in Jamaica. It's almost like states in America or countries in Africa. And I would love if every parish that have a community or communities to have a hotline or a helpline, because that, just train the community, a group of people coming together in the community to assist in that particular issue, and have it in a technological way. I'm not sure if they can have it like a toll-free number or some type of WhatsApp, where almost like you set up like a BPO type of thing, where they'll be able to call or WhatsApp or email, whatever it is that they are going through, so that the necessary accommodation can be made for them, and whatever other support that can be given to that person in that community. So that's one thing that I was considering as just, an innovative way of communities getting involved. But I liked everything that you said, and I hope that other NGOs, other civil society would look into this discussion, because this discussion also helps other human rights organizations, women rights organizations, other non-governmental organizations, on the different innovative ways that we can eradicate this long talk about issue, which is gender-based violence, and particularly violence against women. Right. So
there is also, I remember a discussion I had some years ago with a professor from the Hopkins University, and they said they were running a trial via text message, where they usually send, anonymously, like, to a certain province, let's say it's like Pennsylvania in the US, and they would send them like, a assessment where they will ask them, so anonymously, like, what resources would you like available, as a survivor, so at least the resources could be made available to them. So if they need more health clinics available to them, specifically if they're going through reproductive coercion, so if they need more contraceptives available, or they need counselors available, so certain resources will be made available to them.
Wow. No, I'm impressed. And when you were saying all of this is like, it just starts to stir up a lot of things in my mind, a lot of creative things in my mind, as you mentioned that, because those things can really help eradicate gender-based violence, particularly violence against women, and particularly on the topic that we're on, community involvement. Imagine you can be able to get contraceptives, all of that, in a very systematic way, a digital way. And they find a way to get technology involved, widespread on a large scale, to assist persons. And that is what I believe that this group of people, group of women, this vulnerable group, which is women, this is what we need to do as well. If we really say that we want to eradicate gender-based violence, particularly violence against women, these are some of the discussions that we need to have. These are some of the ideas that we need to come up with. We need to find innovative ways to find a way to eradicate it. It has been talked about far too long,
Oh,
and all. I mean, I know there are a lot of persons involved in the fight, but I know what I would really love to see is for us to continue to have the discussion and find innovative ways of how to eradicate it. I wanted to see it on a large scale, just like how it is on a large scale of the statistic of women being murdered, being abused, being sexually harassed. It is time for us to find innovative ways to have it on a large scale to say that, hey, it has gone down drastically because of these various innovations.
I
So
agree with that, Tyler.
yeah, I really want to see that, which is why the idea came to me that we need to have a topic called eradicating it, and not just saying that, what the issues are, but also finding solutions, finding innovative ways of how we can eradicate it.
It's
So
true. I agree.
that example that you gave a while ago, I'm just blown by it. I really am, because it really shows me that there are ways that we can eradicate this thing. There really are. It's not going to be easy. I won't tell anybody that it will happen overnight, but we do need to find innovative ways, and these are some of the ways. And I hope that other NGOs, other civil societies would look on and implement some of these ways. All right, so for me, this platform is a way to spread the word, but we would have to get that type of funding, that type of sponsorship to try and implement something like that, starting with my own community. You understand? But that's something in the near future, and that's something that I would want to try and implement myself. But those that already have the funders, already have the donors, just try and see how best you can implement some of these innovative ways that we mentioned. If it is that you think it is suitable, I think it is suitable. I think it is amazing. I think I see where that type of solution can help with the problem. And so it's up to you NGOs, it's up to you civil society. So I and Tara do recommend that you implement these innovative ways to eradicate gender-based violence. So we'll move on to our next topic.
Tyler, your mic is on mute. Your mic is on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my. What was the last thing that you heard, Tara?
The next question.
Oh
Like
my.
you're just saying the next question.
Oh, okay. So the next topic, guys, my apologies. The next topic is what systems or initiatives can we put in place that would help women move from having limited power, control, and choice at home to being employed in our economy. Now, before Tara gets into it, I just want to say for this platform, we will be having training programs for women, like customer service, etc. And as well, I have partnered with a resume writer and a professional recruiter. This person has a record of getting persons employed. She's an interview coach. She's willing to give women 40% of all of her services. So that includes resume writing, cover letter writing, as well as interview coaching. So, I mean, if it is that you require these type of services, let me know. Email me with the email that you'll see in the description below and access these type of services. All right, so Tara, back over to you with that particular topic.
Yes. Okay. So specifically during the pandemic, a lot of women have lost their jobs, and they lost their economic mobility. So that's why a lot of what I'm so glad about seeing, Lucia, that a lot of grassroots organizations came with the most innovative ways to try to allow women to gain some form of mobility. There is this organization called Helen's Daughters. They executed this initiative that helps women, local female farmers specifically, on how they can gain linkages with local and international suppliers who are willing to buy their products and to distribute it. So that's what I'm really glad that a lot of grassroots organizations here in St. Lucia are doing. And there's also another one called Raise Your Voice St. Lucia. I almost forgot the name. Raise Your Voice St. Lucia. They also do something similar to that, but they allow local female farmers to how can I say to use their local produce and make it into small savory snacks and little sample snacks like that. So we're into guava jams or guava juice or something like that. So allow them to create a market for themselves. So they provide them with the certain funds, educational classes, with mentors that will help them know the different ways, to how to build their markets and how to do how to maintain their farm, how to maintain their products, certain stuff like that. So that's why I'm extremely proud of what a limited amount of our grassroots organization has been doing during the pandemic, so yeah.
Right. So I'm happy for that. I'm happy to know that St. Lucia is doing this for our women. Jamaica, you can take your cue. we do have other organizations in Jamaica that do help women get employed, but I like those initiatives that St. Lucia have, and improvement and various systems and initiative is never too much. So Jamaica, you can take your cue as well from St. Lucia and implement some of those things in our country and other countries as well. If it is that you don't have those things as yet, you can take your cue as well from St. Lucia. I know that you may have other initiatives that you already have in place, but I believe that is something what Tara just mentioned is something very important, and that's something that a lot of countries can implement. I know Jamaica, widespread, not just for women, assist in the agricultural industry. It is an important industry. It is an industry that is really underrated, but but us Jamaicans are really trying to build back that industry. So particularly for women, if we could have them getting more involved in that type of industry, then that would be good as well. So I mean, I do believe that there are other ways. I'm thinking about possibly partnering with a talent acquisition person, but I need more information on that from the BPO sector. Just somebody to be able to hire these women, so they'll have an opportunity of being interviewed and hired for that position. So that's one thing that we're considering here in our program. And so if Tarek, there's anything else that you'd like to say on this particular topic, because people, this is our last topic for our women, our first episode of our women empowerment segment. So if there's anything else that you'd like to say, Tara.
I think that's all. I don't have much.
and you have said a lot. You have told us a lot of innovative ways. And as I said, I do hope, I pray that other NGOs, other civil societies will take these type of initiatives and innovative ideas into consideration and possibly implement the same. So thank you again, Tara. Your presence, I am honored by it, and I'm sure everybody else.
You're welcome, Kyla.
I'm sure everybody else that will be tuning into the discussion would just love the fact that you have graced us with your presence with all of these innovative ideas, all of these ways of how we can eradicate gender-based violence, shows that women are out there thinking and, you know, finding ways of how we definitely can put a stop or an end to this or combat it. And that is very important and very commendable. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys. So Tara and I are going to eat our Sunday dinner. And I'm sure everybody, yeah.
Sunday lunch.
So you guys know this is recorded, so we're doing this on a Sunday. We're just putting our business out there. It's on a Sunday, and Tara and I have to head over and eat our Sunday dinner. I don't know if Tara has cooked hers as yet. I have not cooked mine as yet. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and don't forget to share this discussion. It's very important to our world, to our different spaces, to our community, to our society on a whole. So I will see you again in our next segment, which is our financial advice segment. And that is where we will have a financial advisor come in and give you financial advice. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you in that segment. Thank you, guys.